Welcome to Wednesday, November 29th, 2023, your Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Hot Springs County Travel and Tourism, reminding you that even as temperatures drop and snow is on the horizon at Thermopolis, you can always find yourself in hot water. We have two weather systems that we're going to be tracking here over the next several days. Today, though, will be another nice day, much like yesterday, which was pretty nice. Trending colder, though, Thursday and Friday as low pressure tracks across the southern Rockies. Colder air will be brought in from the north. That's going to bring in some cooler temperatures. Nothing dramatic, but enough to notice. Then the second system is a strong, moist jet stream wind coming in out of the Pacific Northwest. This will lead to mountain snow and high wind on the plains this weekend, probably lasting into the day on Monday. Then we're going to talk about snow holes and sunspots here at the beginning of the podcast. Two interesting things, two phenomenons going on here at the moment. Now, look at this. This is out of Lander, taken early in the morning with the fog, and basically what you see here is a strong cold air inversion due to the deep snow cover. We've all been talking about all the heavy snow that fell around the Lander, Riverton, Wyoming areas with that Thanksgiving storm. That big basin, that big valley is like a big bowl. It's going to hold that cold air. And so for the last few nights and mornings, temperatures have been single digits to below zero with areas of fog. And we're going to go back to that, talking about snow holes here in a moment. But a lot of that snow that is on the ground in the Wind River Basin is going to be around for quite a while because the nights get cold, especially when those skies are clear. And a lot of you probably saw that big moon yesterday morning as it was setting while the sun was rising, made for a striking view. The satellite imagery this morning, a lot like yesterday. There's some weather in the Pacific. There's a little swirl of clouds with a low here in California, but the rest of the central and western United States, very quiet. A lot of weather up here in the North Pacific, and that's going to cause some action. Now, I want to talk about snow holes. Now, as skies cleared out over the last couple of days, I grabbed some satellite imagery, visible satellite imagery. So it would be just like if you're orbiting the Earth and looking down and with a camera. So it's not infrared, it's just a visual photograph. And what you can see here, where you look really closely, you can see where what we have these snow holes. First of all, you can see where the snow's fallen. This is snow here across Kansas. This is snow here across Nebraska and the northeast Colorado. This is snow here in the Uinta Basin of northeastern areas of Utah. Then you can see that a lot of Wyoming has snow on the ground. But you've got some areas where the snow just missed, basically up there in far northeastern Wyoming. But then we have what we call the snow holes. Now, if you start looking, you can see where you see patches of brown. We'll focus in on this a little bit more, but you can see the Laramie Valley, big snow hole there. Another snow hole here on the north side of the Snowy Range. Look at this big snow hole that basically is right here from Flaming Gorge up to the upper Green River Basin into Star Valley. Basically another snow hole here on the downwind side of the Bighorns, and then up here in the northern part of the Bighorn Basin. Another one here southwest of Casper. Now, what causes snow holes? Well, basically when you get downsloping winds on the other side of mountain ranges. To focus in, here's the Snowy Range, and here's the Laramie Valley. It's amazing. We get this narrow strip where the snow is much, much lighter, but look at all the snow that's on the other side of the Laramie Range, over towards Cheyenne, over towards areas east of the Laramie Range. Another little snow hole here in the Upper Platte Valley, south of Saratoga. So you get these situations where you have winds that are upslope on one side of the mountains and downslope on the other side. That's what happened in the Laramie Valley. That's what happened on the other side of the Wind Rivers. That's what happened here in the Star Valley area. And those downsloping winds continued here across portions of Sweetwater County. Wind direction is so important when we get into these snow events. So depending on what side of the mountain you are on, really depends on how much snow you're going to get. And I talked about the Wind River Basin. This area right here, the snow cover is deep and extensive, and it's also in a basin. So that snow is going to be there for a long time and will make the nights very cold and the days very cool in that Wind River Basin area. If we look up into the northern Bighorn Basin of Wyoming, and you see this little skinny narrow strip right here, well, if you line that up with the winds, where the winds are going downhill on the other side of the Bighorns, is where you get those snow holes. Same thing, a little bit of a snow shadow formed on the other side of Casper Mountain, southwest of Casper. Sunspots. This is from spaceweather.com. The sunspot activity, as you can see, has really taken off. And we've had three large coronal mass ejections. And the general trend is for them to be heading to Earth and working together. So, for you Aurora Borealis watchers, I can't tell you, I won't even pretend to tell you when or if we're going to get Aurora Borealis, but the odds certainly are going up here over the next few nights. And here's a video of one of the solar ejections that happened during the course of the day yesterday, and that is Earth directed. Now, back to the weather. Here we are today with that low coming out of Northern California. It's going to take a track to the south like this, and this is where the precipitation is going to be. This is through Friday. So the low starts here, tracks down, so Arizona, New Mexico, into the Texas panhandles here, then out into the southern plains where it picks up better moisture, will produce more in the way of rain there. But you can see that along and east of the divide, as we showed you yesterday, very little going on. But we're going to get a little bit of snow shower activity in far western Colorado and far western Wyoming. But the general trend with this first one is for the moisture to take that southern route. We've got what we call a Greenland block forming, and this is going to play a role later on. This is a look at the northern hemisphere. So imagine you're in space looking down at the North Pole, which is going to be right here. Here's North America right here, the United States. And what you have is when we get these blocks, and we talk about this in the winter season, this tends to bottle up air masses. It's very cold in Europe, and it's going to stay very cold in Europe here for a while because of this blocking pattern. It's also kind of organizing and keeping very cold air on this side of the hemisphere. And so this blocking pattern is going to tend to force systems off the Pacific and take tracks more to the south. And the models are having a little bit of a difficult time with this blocking pattern, but it's going to be this blocking pattern coming and going here over the next several weeks and affecting our weather. And this is a little bit of a better way to describe it. Here's the east coast of the United States, and this block, we call these Greenland blocks because, well, the block is right over Greenland, this high pressure ridge. So the cold air is bottled up in Europe. The cold air is bottled up in the Hudson Bay and northeastern Canada, and eventually these cold air masses drop into the lower 48 states. And that's something that, as we head into the month of December, is what we're going to see. Here's the second system. This is for Saturday morning. Here's the area of a strong temperature gradient, and that's going to be leading to strong jet stream winds coming in from the northwest. And there they are. Those strong northwest winds aloft are going to be feeding moisture into the northern and central Rockies. This is where along and west of the mountain crests, the mountain tops, you're going to get some significant snowfall. This is the 4-day period of Saturday through Tuesday. So if you can see, the major mountain ranges are the areas that are picking up the moisture. It's because of those northwest winds aloft. As we mentioned yesterday, this is a great way to make it snow in the mountains. This is where you get significant snow up high. You don't get much down low. You get some. As you can see, there will be some shower activity, but this is going to be mainly a mountain event. But traveling along Interstate 80 near those mountains, going to be a little bit tricky. I-70 in Colorado as well. And if we take that and make it the total snowfall between now and next Tuesday, you can see that trend northwest to the southeast. So good news for ski areas, good news for the snowpack, but it's bad news across the plains. These are the high wind patterns that are going to be developing over the course of the weekend and probably through Monday. So you can see just along and east of the divide of the major mountain ranges from Canada through Montana, Wyoming, then into Colorado, then also down into New Mexico. You get along and east of the divide. This is a very windy pattern. So going to be an active weekend of high winds on the plains and snow in the high country. Then the longer term, after those strong jet stream patterns move out, high pressure moves in for the beginning of next week. So as we get into late Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week, it looks cool and quiet with this high pressure. However, this area of low pressure is probably queued up to arrive the weekend of the 9th and 10th, and that's a system right here we'll need to keep an eye on for the weekend after this one. Have yourself a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow.